This episode comes from beautiful Athens, Greece. I get to sit down with George Moulos. George is a truly dynamic entrepreneur. In his late 20s, he is already on Forbes 30 under 30 for Greece. He holds a Guinness World Record. He is an expert in the e-commerce space. He is a comedian, a historian, and truly dynamic on so many levels. We're gonna talk about so many different things here, what it takes to start your own online business, how to sell them, what it means to be a digital nomad, and just finding and carving out your own niche. George pushes the limits, and we're gonna learn so much in this episode of Invigorate Your Business starting now. My name is George Stroumboulis, and I'm extremely passionate about traveling the world, meeting new people, and learning about new businesses. Join me as I sit down with other entrepreneurs to learn about their journeys. This episode of Invigorate Your Business starts now. Okay, so we're gonna jump into this. I'm gonna read a quick intro to jump in, kind of give the listener an idea of who you are if they don't know you. You have this presence, a big following. We're gonna jump into all that. So quick little intro here. Today's guest is one of the most dynamic young entrepreneurs from the Greek-Australian community and a global deal maker recognized by Forbes 30 under 30 Greece, which is insane. George Moulos is the managing director of e-commerce brokers, leading an international team that has completed more than 100 online business acquisitions. He also holds a Guinness World Record, and we're going to get into that on just insane. Beyond buying and selling businesses, George runs a growing media company, producing podcasts and educational content designed to teach entrepreneurship, digital skills, real-world business strategy to the next generation. He began building businesses as a teenager in Sydney and later moved to Greece and Cyprus to expand his ventures and inspire young people, showing that anyone could start a business part-time, full-time, or even alongside a job. He is also a comedian. We're going to get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the world record holding entrepreneur, George Moulos.
Thank you. I don't know if it sounds that cool, but yeah.
Pretty awesome, man. If there was a crowd here, they'd be clapping right now. But so let's start here. Like, we were just outside now for an hour having a coffee under the Acropolis, traffic, nice brisk February day here. When did you move to Greece? Like, let's just talk about
timeline, huh? Yeah. So I moved to Greece I don't know what's the best way. I came to Greece in 2018 on I'm leaving Australia to travel the world kind of journey. And Greece was inadvertently my base for a couple months every year from 2018 to 2025. Mm-hmm. And I would come here for a couple months, up to like 4 or 5 months. And then I'd be traveling the rest of the world, South America, Central America, all of Europe, heaps of countries, like 50 odd countries, just running my business online and traveling at the same time. And then it was, 2024, late 2024, from when I said, I'm kind of bored of this digital nomad stuff. And then I settled down in Greece a bit and I had the liberty to start making a bit of content. And that's when the whole Instagram stuff really started.
In 24?
24.
Oh, wow.
Mid 24.
Yeah.
I was just on my podcast because I was like, look, my business, thankfully, is at a point where I have a bit of extra time. If I could, and I asked myself, if I could have any other business, what would it be? I said it would be media. And if I could do any sort of media, I would like to make the media that I consume, which is a lot of history media.
Yes.
So I said, you know what? I saw like this trend going around in the nerd history world, internet world, of like ranking Roman emperors. And so I'm like, I just like made a tier list of Roman emperors on my own podcast. And then we took one clip from that, put it on Instagram, and got like 200,000 views. And after trying with content, like business content, for years and years before that never got anywhere. Mm-hmm. Trying to be some guru type things, like cool, I'm on a balcony. Never went anywhere. History nerd talking, going ape shit about Basil II, the Bulgar Slayer. 200,000 views. I'm like, oh, fuck. And it was like, wait, that's who I actually am. I'm not some like business guru, sleek type of guy. I'm a history nerd.
Right.
And that's what they loved. I'm like, fuck it. Well, I'm just doing this now.
And that was the light bulb right there.
Yeah. I'm just like, well, whoever I was trying to be, fuck that, let me just be me.
Yeah.
And they might like me for it, they might not, but we'll see.
I was in Toronto for Christmas, I was telling you earlier, and we were just chatting with my brother-in-law's brother. Shout out Teddy P. And we're just talking about people he follows and what he likes. And he's like, you know that one Greek Australian who always has like those history lessons? He's like, I fucking love that guy. Right. And I'm like, yeah, George. Right. And then pulled up your profile and he's like, I love it. He's like, it's digestible. It's like these little bits. So it's like, clearly there's a reach there. Right.
Yeah. I think at some point I just realized like, it's not difficult for me to make or be passionate about certain topics. I mean, it doesn't even need to be Greek. I'm passionate about a lot of historical stuff that isn't Greek, but I realized that a lot of the same experiences that a Greek Aussie will have, a Greek American will have, that a Greek Australian will have, that a Greek Austrian will have, but there's not like one kind of communal place. And that's what the influencers on Instagram stuff will do. They'll make very relatable content. And for me, there isn't like a nerdy, meme-y type of like Instagram guy for history about Greece.
Right.
It's like the super serious stuff that doesn't get too much exposure. And then there's like way too like radical nationalist Greek stuff, which can be funny at times, but sometimes you're like, all right, can we relax a bit?
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it became a point where I'm like, well, this is the stuff I'm nerdy and interested about. So like, let me just make that content. And if it gets, like I told you before, it's like, it's a negotiation between what I want to talk about and what people want to consume.
Yes.
Like, and sometimes I won't care too much about what people want to consume, and I'll just make it. Like, after that Bulgar Slayer video that went well, I said, let me just make a series of every single Roman emperor, a Roman emperor a day. And that's 183 days of Roman emperors. It's not a small
I thought
task.
It'd be like 15.
No, it's
okay,
fine. Augustus to Constantinos Badiologos the 11th. So like it was 183 days. And that did not get that many. Don't think any one video got more than 100,000 views. And most of them got like 5,000. But like to this day, people like that series more than they like any other series I've ever done.
Really?
Even though the other series have gotten millions and millions of views. So like sometimes it's that negotiation, but sometimes it's just doing the thing that I find interesting and then seeing how it pans out and having faith that there are other people that are interested in that, I think. But
do you think part of that though is, so you focus on the history, but you also have an interesting life. You are not like, you didn't wake up and say, hey, this is what I want to do and I'm only this and my background is that. You are an athlete, right? You hold a world record, Guinness World Record. We'll talk about that. Your success is online businesses, buying and selling and doing that, not in Greece, like internationally. You just happen to live here. Then you throw in the fitness. You're a comedian, right? So it's that whole online persona. You're a good looking dude, right? So if there's someone who's not a dork presenting it, like it's a good way of doing that. So like, is that where you're moving towards, like your whole online?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, and I ask myself this question a lot because like I started in the business world through building online assets basically and creating content for them. So like I see, and like any content creator, I constantly think, am I creating content that aligns with me? What's my identity? What's my persona? And honestly, I just go back to the thing that like my page is called George Moulos Official. It's me. It's about me.
Yep.
And as much as like I talk about history and the news and building houses right. or Roman emperors or comedic stuff, if someone comes to my page, they're going to see me.
Yep.
In all the facets and interests I might have. But like, and I had this concern many times where I'm like, I'm going to make a comedy skit and I haven't made one of those in like 50 posts. Is someone who watches me for my Greek news stuff going to like my comedy stuff? All of them won't, but I think most will, because most people watching Greek news will be Greek or Greek diaspora, and they might have the same flavor of comedy that I do.
Right.
And like the people who like a Greek house build series probably will like Greek history stuff too. And in that way, like, I mean, every creator likes to think that they're not, pigeonholed into one thing. But I think the fact that people have stuck around with my content for a couple of years now.
And growing
slowly. Yeah. But I think, it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'm not too concerned, or I think a lot of creators, and I've seen a lot of creators get paranoid, like, how am I going to keep people, entertained? I need to be consistent. I need to be posting every day.
Right.
For me, like I told you, I've got no content plan. I'm day by day, what's happening in the news in Greece. If I see something interesting, I'll make a video about it. If I'm researching about, the other day I was watching this video on the battle of the Delaware River, like George Washington. Random history. Yeah. I'm like, wow, interesting. And now for the last week I've been reading about it. So wherever my mind is going, and I was in where was I? I was in Budapest. And as a Greek in Budapest, I do what most Greeks do. I think, what connection does Greece have with Budapest? So I go into a national museum. I find one of the only 3 East Roman crowns. Made a video about that. 100,000 views.
Jeez.
I made a video about the fact that the Corinth Canal was built and engineered by Hungarians. 100,000 views. For me, it's just like, it's like when I'm on stage and I have this joke that I wrote in my own spare time, in my own stupid head. I'm like, you have this curiosity of like, will other people find this funny? And then you put it out there, and then people are like, yes, that's good, that's great.
Yes.
And it's like a great, I don't know, there's something about finding things mutually interesting or mutually funny. And I think that's where it all comes from. And anytime I feel like I've gone off path with my content, especially with news and history, because it can get very political and racist in the comments very fast. And it does often in my comment section. But you know what? I'm not there commenting back. And anytime, if I'm replying to a comment, which I usually don't, I'm like, is this coming from a good place of curiosity? And if it's not, I'm like,
well, but you don't go one way or the other politically. It doesn't.
Never.
Yeah. You're sharing the facts, and then
I would name my page Curious George if it wasn't like copyright.
Exactly.
Because I'm just very curious about stuff, and I want to know people's opinions. I want to know the story behind it. And I've posted stuff, and I've been wrong. Where I'm like, oh, these are my thoughts, or what? Not even my thoughts. This is the thing that happened, and this is how this side and that side looks at it.
Right.
People have been like, that's not true. I'm like, all right, correction. And I'm just going to correct it.
And you go and do that.
For me, it's a learning process. All I'm saying is come with and see what we can put together.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it's like this great, like someone teaches me something, they teach me something. I've met probably the best thing about doing this whole content thing is meeting other people that can teach me stuff, other creators that can teach me stuff. It's for that reason, it's all worth it. Like I told you, I've not made a dime from it. And for me, it's not even about that.
Right. Well, but where you make your money is from e-commerce businesses. Yeah. But you don't post about that. Like when you said, hey, you go to George Moulos, this is me. You don't talk about any of that either. Why is that?
Well, look, I did it for a long time, like before I started the content stuff. And I think that, look, firstly, being a brown dude on the internet, talking about online business, that's not a good place to start. People don't want to listen to you.
Wait, you consider yourself a brown dude?
I don't.
Yeah.
But the world will if they look at me.
So like Middle Eastern, or like what do you mean?
Like I look like my phenotype is more Arab looking than what most people consider Greek. But I'm from the south of Greece. I'm from Laconia and Kythera. And I spent a lot of time in the sun running. Yeah. So I tan super easily. And I dress like an Arab dude.
So you're a brown dude. Okay.
So it's like, and so with that being said, like brown dudes on the internet who make internet money do not have a good reputation. And you know what? I don't want to hear them. So even though I have 15 years of entrepreneurship behind me, if people don't want to hear about it, fair enough. I don't blame you.
No, I totally. But so you're late 20s, mid to late 20s, and you already have 15 years experience. Yeah. Right? Let's talk about the business side. And then I want to get into the running and all that stuff. But like e-commerce businesses, like where were you 15 years ago? Mid-teens? 15, 16? Where were you? Physically in Australia?
Yeah. So
okay, born and raised
in Australia, Greek parents. I started, I was working at McDonald's. I was unloading shipping containers. I was doing a bit of construction, demolition work whenever I could. And I realized I don't want to work with my hands. Like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. Like my parents had to, like my grandparents had to, and so on and so on.
What did your parents do in Australia?
My dad worked in a factory, and my mum worked at the airport and worked cutting lawns and gardening, like tough jobs. And I'm like, I don't want this to be the rest of my life. And that's when I got into like reading self-development books. I was born in 1998. So I grew up in the social network. You got to hustle, Gary V, all this shit, who eventually became one of my clients, which was crazy.
Gary V, okay.
Yeah. So like I grew up in this internet hustle phase of the internet, and I was like, well, this sounds like a solution to all my problems, so I'm going to look into it. And then I just like, through like osmosis, I moved from like playing video games online to like starting Facebook groups for students. I was like, well, I'm just going to create content. This is kind of a thing that's happening. And then I slowly monetized that through affiliate marketing and then sold those Facebook pages. And then I started to network with other people in the digital marketing space in Australia. So I was selling Instagram pages, YouTube pages, domains started to be my main thing. Then anyone who wanted to buy came to me. Anyone who wanted to sell came to me. And then eventually I started a marketing agency.
What age are you there now? Marketing agency?
Yeah, so marketing agency started when like 13, 14.
Oh, geez.
But it wasn't really a business that could be sold until like I was like 19, because I didn't have a niche. And then I focused on real estate agents. And then I started a digital product business, like basically notes for like the students who achieve the best results in the HSC, which is the New South Wales, the Australian school system.
Okay.
We would get them to write up notes. We'd format them nicely, slap a logo on it, and we'd sell it for $10.
Okay.
And it was just a PDF.
Like class notes?
Yeah.
So if you missed it, you buy it online?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
yeah.
And that wasn't a thing. I'm 27, but like we bought textbooks and we write the notes from class.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm a fucking idiot. What the fuck? I don't want my notes.
Yeah.
I want the best students' notes. I want to buy $700 textbooks and write my stupid notes.
Yeah.
I want the best notes. Just give me those. I'm not going to study. I'm just going to memorize. And then I did that during the last year of high school, towards the end of the last year of high school. And then I sold that. And then the marketing agency was ticking along for a couple more years. And then I traveled. I've always been trading, buying and selling businesses online under this, domain e-commerce brokers. I'm like, this is never going to go anywhere. The marketing agency is never going to go anywhere. And this and this and this. I was just doing too many things. I'm like, let me just do e-commerce brokers. That's when I doubled down on that.
What did you do with the agency?
Sold everything.
So just really quick, how did you even know at 18, 19, how to even go and sell it? Like what sparked that? I always
knew that you could sell any online business just because I was always selling domains and stuff.
Okay. And
I knew just a network of like agency owners, and everyone had a bloody marketing agency back then.
Okay.
Now it's a bit more consolidated. I mean, we sell them more than any other sort of business these days. But yeah, I just knew that, I have a list of clients that have our services, and I could sell that to another competitor and sold that. And like, I knew I solved the problem in the digital product space.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why don't you buy your tutoring company, buy it? And Facebook groups, like I sold them to universities, tutoring companies, club promoters. I'm like, anyone who can monetize this the same way or another way can buy it. And that's still the same principles of how we sell businesses now. But yeah, and then naturally I just doubled down on e-commerce brokers, built it into a proper business, and the business structure has changed over time, but that's what is
still the core.
So cool, yeah.
So right now from your business, you could work anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And then e-commerce broker, you go out to the market, you find businesses that want to be sold.
No, they come to me.
They come to you. So now you built a big enough reputation, right?
Yeah.
They come to you and say, hey, we want to exit this. What's that cycle look like? I'm just curious.
Yeah. No, for sure. So 90% of our sellers come from word of mouth, which is great. And because we used to sell small businesses, but now we only sell multi-million-dollar businesses most of the time. Like
revenue-wise, multi-million-dollar?
Valuation-wise.
Oh, okay.
And so let's say, we have a listing now, 1.5 mil net profit agency. And multiples are something like 3 to 5, more like 3 to 4 times the trailing 12 months net profit. And we're selling it, I don't know, somewhere like 6.5 something, or 7. It's a high valuation, but we go out, we list it on our website, we put it out on our email list, we put it through our co-broker marketplaces, co-brokerages as well. So 50-odd thousand people will see it. These are people who are vetted, signed NDAs, shown proof of funds.
Right.
And then we'll have calls, broker buyer calls and broker buyer seller calls. Then we'll have offers, and then we'll go into LOIs, then we'll go to APAs and we'll sell.
So what's a cycle though? Like from the minute that agency comes to you and says, George, I want you to sell this. Yeah. What's your typical sales cycle?
Something like 3 to 4 months is our average.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's super quick compared to brick and mortar standard businesses. Yeah, it's reasonably quick. On the buy side, probably the same.
Same.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
And in like an agency, I'm so curious on like, they do 1.5 million profit, right? And they could get a 3-4 multiple. Is that an agency that's just virtual? Like there's no one behind there that you're talking to? Like
no. I mean, this company's super lean, but it still has 5 employees.
Okay.
The agency we sold last year had 25, 30. So like, there's no office. Yep. They're all remote, but there's still people behind them. A lot of the Shopify businesses and Amazon businesses are much more lean. Yep. But I don't think I've ever sold a business with an office.
So talk to me about like getting burned stories where something you go through the vetting, like red flags for people to look at.
Sure. I mean, look, our buy side service is pretty much all about that. We're there to source, of course, and negotiate, but also to throw away businesses and leads that are just red flags. Okay. We've gone down the whole, like 30, 60 days of due diligence just to find that, sellers actively hiding information. And then we're like, we're out. For us, we'd much rather cut our losses than have our buyers buy something that is a dud. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've never had a bad review in 15 years. And that for me, that tells me, well, I mean, because I'll also doubt, like, is this the thing I should be doing? Is this the main business? Should I be focusing on anything else? I'm like, we have hundreds of written reviews. We have 20, 30 odd video testimonials on our website. People keep referring us, so we must be doing something right.
Clearly you're great at that.
Yeah, my friend who works at one of our competitors said, you might not like this, but you're the number one business broker by volume, single individual in the industry for the last 3 years.
Well, when you're saying industry, you're talking global, like international industry. That's insane. And most of these deals are happening in North America?
Yeah, United States for sure has like 95% of the market. But like there are other brokerages, there are other marketplaces, but no individual broker sells the volume and buys or sells the volume of businesses that I do. The number 2 is my friend who's also Greek and lives in Greece. And he works at a marketplace where he doesn't own it, but he works there. So it's one of those things where, I mean, I did this stuff since I was a kid. I've never known a normal job, like a 9-to-5 office job. Yeah. I've grown with the market and I've also stayed around the longest. My competitors are 50 and 60 years old, but they've moved out, they've retired, they've stepped back as a founder of their brokerage. But for me, it's my bread and butter. I know this stuff better than anyone just because I've been doing it so long.
You've been doing it so long. Where's it going to be? You've been doing it 15 years. In 15 years from now, what trends are you seeing? Is AI affecting it in any way?
AI is affecting, in terms of agencies must be using AI to some degree within their businesses. It's just a must. Yeah. Shopify and Amazon a bit less, but still like for images and copy and so on a bit. Not transformational yet. For brokerages themselves and marketplaces, it's not replacing any jobs so far. At the end of the day, the same reason people want to use an individual broker like me as opposed to a marketplace is the same reason there will probably still be a job for me in 50 years. The same reason, I mean, I'm a low-level investment banker, basically, for online businesses. And most people who have successful businesses are 35 plus. And 35 plus people want to talk to a person. Yes. For better or worse, they want to speak to a person that they're going to speak to from the start to the end. They want them to speak fluent English and they want them to be a good negotiating. That's not going to change in my lifetime. Right. So for me, I don't get too worried about shifts. I think in 50 odd years, I mean, for me, I know that I'll probably always have this business because it's never not going to not make sense to make 6-figure commissions on a deal, just putting 2 people together. Yeah. And number 2, my business is non-transferable because I am the business.
You are yes.
As much as I've built out all these automations in my team, it's me at the end of the day, which means there's great defensibility, but also there's no transferability. So yeah.
Which is great though, but if you keep building and doing what you're doing and you're investing and doing as you're going.
Yeah, and look, for me, it's to sell a business, fundamentally, the business at a price that you find acceptable, the business needs to be more valuable to someone else than it is to you. No, my business is not more valuable to anybody else in the world than it is in my hands.
Right.
Which gives me the liberty to do other businesses and ventures, because it doesn't take up a tenth of my time.
Yep.
So it gives me the flexibility, and I mean, it's a gift. I thought it was a curse because the business was not successful for many years. But now it's this great gift that gives me the time and freedom to pursue comedy, pursue other malachias, walking across the country, whatever bullshit I'm finding interesting.
Malachias, yeah.
It gives me that liberty and it finances that for me. And look, like at the end of the day, for me, I do love business. I do love growing operations, and making customers happy with selling their business. I mean, that's a huge life event for most people. Up there with like getting married.
Yeah, of course.
Birth of a kid. I sold my 17-year-old business. But at the same time, for me, it affords me just to be happy in Greece. If I could just get a place in the country in Greece with some olive trees.
Good Wi-Fi. Good Wi-Fi. Yeah.
A good part of me is like, that's all I need. And it gives me that. So I'm like very grateful for what it has become.
Okay.
Yeah. Can
you apply that to brick and mortar though? Like businesses if you wanted to? Like if a buddy, like is it a totally different animal?
It is. We've helped sell some brick and mortar businesses. So the upper end of our valuation for buying and selling is like 50 mil. We've sold a 72 mil. We helped sell 72 mil business, but after that, it's just investment bankers.
Yeah.
And although they have a lot of deficiencies in the online business world, no one's going to come to George Moulos and e-commerce brokers over JP Morgan. It's just not going to happen right now. Unless you come through word of mouth like that 72 mil deal did. And also, a lot of people who've come to us to sell their business have gone to investment bankers first. They failed and they came to us and we got the job done. That being said, what was the question?
Just in general, like applying it to a business. Like if you have a friend who...
Brick and mortar, yeah. The brick and mortar business broker world is like huge.
It is, yeah.
It's like the online M&A world, my like total of the top 5 brokerages, including Flipper, Empire Flippers, website brokers, website closers, Quiet Light, and myself, we might do buy and sell side, maybe $1 billion in volume. The top 5 actors in brick and mortar, they got to be doing 50, 100 billion.
Right.
Like it's insane.
It's insane.
And that's just not even going beyond a valuation of 100 mil. Beyond that, investment banking, we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions if not. I think the only reason a kid, because I was a kid when I started, a kid with no degree can get into, and no connections, could get into this industry is because I came through being a seller and a buyer of businesses when the industry started. I've seen young guys trying to get into online business brokering and left after a couple months or years because you make no money at the start for a lot of years. I was okay with that. And I was poor for a long time, but I was like, well, it was the gamble. I was delusional, to be honest. And there was no proof that it was going to work. But I went through those 3 to 5 years, and my friends will know, like, I was the guy in the friend group that never had any money.
Yep.
I just didn't go places and do stuff because I had no money. And then and then 1 year they just changed. Things just started to work. And
you put in the time though, right? Which is a huge lesson 100%. In anything. People just want that quick.
Yeah.
I did this for 6 months or a year. I should have it.
For me, I tell, like, I don't do mentoring at all. But the one friend of mine who's a couple years younger, who I did mentor and we're good friends, I told him, this is not a sprint. This is not a marathon. This is a fucking ultra marathon.
Yeah.
The dopamine doesn't come pretty much ever. And you'll get paid eventually in quantities that will blow your mind, but you'll never get the recognition because that recognition will never come because recognition is the game of a 9-to-5 job, salary career. You don't get a pat on the back for making money in your business because you're not going to tell anyone about it.
Exactly. And you're at the top of your own mountain. So who's patting your back? Yeah.
No one's going to say, George, congratulations, you're the #1 business broker in the world. Because no one even knows what the hell an online business broker is.
Yeah.
It's not even a thing.
Right.
But you do get money, and that gives you freedom.
Yeah.
So then it's just, for me, it's worth it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those crazy things that I would have been 7-8 years into the game before I saw enough money to compare to if I went to university and became an M&A investment banker.
Yes.
And then it made sense. But you got to be delusional. Like, I look back on some of the deals I believed in. I'm like, that's stupid. This is insane to believe that this is going to work. But lucky I was delusional. I wouldn't have believed myself now.
That's incredible though. But it's giving you the freedom, right?
Yeah.
I get anywhere from 1 to 3 emails a day, my work email. Yeah. I'm just like, hey, we saw this press release here and you guys, and I just feel like I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, because mine's, we have warehouses, we have factories, all this stuff, but it's like that constant. So to be able to be in a position where people are coming to you is a big deal. Because when you're on the receiving end of that communication, you're like, what can they do? What are they bringing to the table? Is this a scam? Like, there's so much to like filter through.
And for me, I cancel more Calendly bookings than I take. And for me, I mean, my business really shifted because I used to sell 50 to 100K valuation businesses, like 100 of them a year. And now we sell max 20. And that's gone down every year, but we make more money every year.
Because you're picking and choosing your sweet spot.
We're not doing this. And we'll refer them to our competitors. We're like, take it. We didn't give a shit.
Right.
Send us a referral commissions if you want. Well, I would rather just work with amazing people. And our buy side went from like 10% of our business to almost 60% in 2025. Because we're just, instead of having buyers buying some 100K stores, we're having family offices buy like 7 businesses a year. And that's one client to manage. And I used to think that, I don't know, I was too young. I'm not a white guy. I'm not American, whatever bullshit excuse. I didn't go to university. And people like, especially, I have like 3 family offices in Texas that are old school white dudes, man. We get along like a house on fire. Oh. Like, you do your job well, and that's all we give a shit about.
Yeah.
And for me,
you just service the heck out of them, right?
Exactly. And, we've had clients, come in and say, we want to buy 50K stores, 100K stores, or we want to sell this, business that's dying. It's been around for 6 months and it's a drop shipping. I'm like, I'm just like, that's not my business anymore. We used to do that. We'd rather refer you, focus on quality clients who care about building relationships over the long term. And that's just worked for us over the long term as well.
Good for you, man. So do people when you had your team, people who want to get into the space, like advice, everyone wants that quick dollar, career. Like, what advice do you have for someone who's 18, 20, 22 in general, just starting a career with whatever they may be, right? And then wanting to even get into this space?
Look, I would say if you want to be an online business broker, forget about it because it's over. Like, there was a growth period, then there was a consolidation period, and now there's a period of like, even the big players, some big players are failing. So unless you have a business model that cannot die, like my business model cannot die because I'll stick around unprofitably for 10 years. I don't give a shit.
And low overhead, like you could,
Exactly. So like now there's like 5 players. There used to be 6 or 7 big players. Now there's 5. It's the same 5 that started this whole thing. So like, we're not changing. And anyone who's come into the industry for the last 10 years has left.
Okay.
So like those top 5 have stayed in. One because of startup funding, which is stupid money. Another one because they run a proper tight ship. The other 2 brokerages make sense because of sheer volume and their business model, and then me, because like it's just me, low overhead. But more generally, to answer your question on like, if someone wants to become an online business entrepreneur, traveling the world, hustle guy, I think that e-com and online money is the best career to have. And if you're a young person who speaks some English, you don't even need to speak English. But if you're a young person who has access to the internet, this is the greatest opportunity in human history to start an online business and work anywhere, leverage making American money into whatever country you're in. It's never been easier too. Like when I went to school, I had a flip phone.
Right.
I'm young, but I had a flip phone, dude, that had no internet.
And you were born in 1998. When I hear that, I'm like, are you kidding me, man? That's so...
When I started high school, I had a flip phone, a Vodafone flip phone. And I ended it with like a phone with the internet that I was running a business on.
Right.
So like you can really start any business you want, and a lot of the processes are the same. Like your hustle gurus that you watch now won't be the same as I watched, like Gary Vee and stuff when I started. But like you got to be a sponge and read the books, consume the content, what's hot right now, and then like get deep in learning, find your mentors, start taking action on creating those businesses, and then go like walk through a desert of shitty business ideas that you create and fail at, and then slowly iterate and see what actually works, and then stick to that. And then 10 years later, you probably succeed. Yeah. But you'll probably be you'll probably reach success faster than I did if you learn from, my lessons or anyone else's lessons. But yeah, like the one kid who I probably properly mentored and he's done great, Gael, who did the March Across Greece with me, and he did all the behind the scenes of it. He's 22 now, and he started an agency focused around video content and running ads, and he's killing it.
And he's killing it.
He used to work at Wizz Air. He used to serve peanuts on flights, and now he's doing like 10 grand months. So like,
but he won a lottery in you taking him under his wing, right, and teaching him and showing him.
I think it goes two ways. Like when I was 15. And I had my Facebook groups, and I was calling up tutoring companies to do affiliate marketing. I chased up 20 odd tutoring companies. One guy picked up, and he's been my mentor for the next 12 years. My other mentor, I was at a club talking to girls, and his assistant was talking to a girl I wanted to talk to, and then I ended up talking to him, and then I met his Same with Gael. I was dating a Wizz Air flight attendant, and she's like, come to this bar where all the workers are there, and then he's there, and we ended up talking. So like,
the common theme is women here. You see that, right?
If you want to find a mentor,
go after the same women.
Exactly.
And this is coming from someone who got Forbes 30 under 30 here in Greece, which is a big deal.
Is it?
Yeah.
In Greece?
Why not?
Nah, it's not the same as America.
Okay, well, America, but like, yeah, America is a big deal as well. But Greece, like, let's not diminish. Like, there's a lot of change happening here.
Yeah, it's getting there. I think the bar is definitely lower than any other country, pretty much.
But I feel like you're diminishing it, and I get it, right? But
and also, the Forbes 30 under 30 is like a 50-50 chance of someone's gone to prison on this list. These days, like, there was a new person I saw today went to prison for fraud, and they're on the Forbes 30 under 30.
And they're on the 30.
I was thinking about, am I going to take this shit off my Instagram? I don't even know why I have it anymore. But like, yeah.
Shots fired to Forbes Greece, eh?
Well, look, like, let's be honest. Let's call a pair. Forbes 30 under 30, like most awards, are a mechanism to promote a magazine through the participants' social media or general notoriety, which is a fake thing. The Forbes 30 under 30 is a made up thing. It didn't exist 100 years ago because it's not a real thing. So like, let's say I get the Forbes 30 under 30. I advertise it, and inadvertently I'm advertising Forbes, which is licensed by Capital.gr, and I've just advertised for free.
Right.
And I'm thinking it's a pleasure for me to do it for them. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Crazy.
But there is clout that comes with it too, right? When you look at the fickle side of
it's social proof. For better or for worse,
right?
I always say, like, I don't believe in it. If someone says to me, "Oh, I'm the Forbes 30 under 30, you should work with me," I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm more concerned now. I got to bet you even harder. I think that people who live in the 9-to-5 business world will see Forbes and they'll see some credibility.
Yes,
and there's a bit of, okay, I get that. I never really believed in that. And going through the experience of going through the Forbes 30 under 30 thing, I trust it even less.
Yep.
There are awards out there that I respect, but I mean, unfortunately, Forbes doesn't pick great winners. And what's Forbes under 30 under 30? It's like, this is potential. Sure. Potential for great things. Infamous or famous.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's so 50-50. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I look at that and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Right, we're scrapping it from the bio, right?
Yeah, I think
it's kind of like there's the Inc. 50, the Inc. 100, the Inc. 5000. I think it's got up to like Inc. 1000.
Inc. I started a business and we haven't made any money. There you go.
Absolutely. But if I showed 5% increase year over year, we're going to give you the Inc. 10,000. Yeah. So it is a self-promotion thing. But again, you clearly know what you're talking about in the space. So from a business standpoint, you're successful here. That's given you the time, the money to be able to pursue passions, which is huge.
It's great.
Able to unlock that in your late 20s.
Yeah.
It's huge. So then you come to Greece and you're here, you're making your money. Like, all right, what do I do to make me happy, right? Because I feel like if you weren't doing this other stuff, you wouldn't be satisfied with just making money in your work, right?
No, 100%. And I think I had like a quarter life crisis a couple of years ago. I was like, all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid was not be poor. I had one fucking crusade in my life. It's like, I want to not have to struggle and stress. And as soon as I got to a point in 2024, I was like, well, things are good. But I'm not remotely satisfied or happy. And then I wanted to draw like a line in the sand between struggle, hustle, not be poor, period, phase, to like thriving and growing, I guess. And that's when I was like, okay, let's try some new stuff. I tried the content stuff. And
really quick, George, what was your worst time financially where you were kind of like, talk about that? Because right now you are, by your own measure as well, you're successful now. Financially, you're covered.
Yeah.
Like you're good. There's no like, hey, I may be on the street tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried about that anymore.
But what was your worst time?
Yeah, I think because I'm delusional, I was, maybe still am, definitely am, delusional, and I was poor at managing my finances, and I was willing to live on nothing and risk everything. I was broke many times. Like the first time is when I left home when I was 17 and I lived in my car for a couple of weeks. And then I crashed my car and I lost my license.
Oh shit.
So I was like,
and you're home at the same time? You crashed your car, which was your home?
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
And then I had to get that fixed and then I sold it. And I was on the streets for 3 nights.
In Sydney?
In Sydney. And then that was like beginners broke. That was like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it traumatic. I think it's an overused word, but it was a lesson to learn.
But hold on, 3 days, so the car alone, but then 3 days on the street. So not fighting with your parents, whatever, you didn't want to go home. Where do you go 3 days? Like what does that even look like when you're like, I had a home and now I'm 3, where do you even go?
In Sydney, it's pretty easy, to be honest. You could catch a train from Cronulla, which is kind of where I lived, and it goes around the whole city for like 3 hours and to Bondi, and then catch it back. Just chilling. And I mean, I just stayed at like Starbucks and stuff, just pretending to work on my laptop and whatever. Libraries in Sydney are great. And then at nighttime, like I just have my backpack and I just pretend like I'm sleeping on the beach. I'm like, I'm hungover, dude. Everyone's like yelling and screaming. I'm trying to say, my fuck, this is bad.
Shit.
And like, I don't know, it was more like, it wasn't homeless. I think that's, not the phrase I'd use the phrase, poor planning. I think it's more than anything. Yeah. I could have avoided it, if I wasn't so proud and I wasn't so stubborn. But also I wouldn't have become who I was if I went back. That was like lifestyle got fucked up bad. When I was in the biggest hole, like I was negative like 20K, 25K, was only a couple of years ago. And I just doubled down on my business and I got robbed 3 times in 1 year, once in Mexico, once in Barcelona, once in Cyprus. And like, everything went bad. It was COVID. So things were just like dramatic in good and bad. But yeah, just, that's when I slowly made lifestyle changes. And business structure changes. I went from selling 100 businesses a year to like 20 to 30. I was like, well, I'm not going to, sell these small ones. So there was a dip and things slowly came back. But, yeah, at some point, I've just said like, I don't need to, it's like feast and famine. It doesn't need to be like that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were.
Like, what do you do with money now? Like your respect towards actual money. What's changed? You said before, like you weren't good with money. What's changed now? Yeah,
well, now I'm much more, I'm just acting like an adult, I guess. Like I'm investing in property. I'm investing properly, just in general. Like I've gone from someone who just sees money as this thing that stays in the bank and I spend to it's an investment. And like I also am very particular about the way I compare a life of entrepreneurship as opposed to a life living in Australia with a job, with a superannuation, which is like a 401k. Like there's not $500,000 waiting for me when I turn 65. I've got to make that as an entrepreneur. So like I got to build something here properly to even compare to even the normal success I would have as a normal 9-to-5 worker. And then if I want this to be a better option than that, I got to do even better than that. So it was like a slap in the face because the whole hustle, internet, digital nomad thing sounds really great. And it sounds like you could do it within 3-4 months. But like, if you want this, and I always see it as like being a pirate. If you want pirating and being a bandito and like a cowboy to be a long-term thing, you better like get really smart about it. Because sure, you're free, which is, I think, the correlation to those things.
Yep.
But if you want to be free for a long time, you better build something that's going to last. And I see with my clients, like a lot of people who sell online businesses, young guys, they sell it, they buy the Lambo, they go to Dubai. 5 years later, they're like, I want to get back home. And I've spent all my money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, like,
you lost 5 years.
Exactly. Yeah. You know? So there's definitely a maturing in the space. And I think the only reason I've learned anything is because of history. I'm like, there's lifetimes, you got to have longevity and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So just to wrap up the business side, because that's incredible. Have you missed out, or do you miss it at all not having that daily interaction, like being a nomad, right? And going here and doing that. It's the digital world. And then there's elements of the 9-to-5 or having an office with some people. Like, and again, I suffer with that because we have remote offices. And then my home office in Newport Beach, it's like, I don't have that team of 30 people next to me where you bounce ideas. There's pros and cons, right? Inefficiencies and everything. But do you feel like you've missed out on that element?
To be honest, I don't feel like I've missed out on anything. I ask myself that because I always compare. You know, I inevitably compare to other people my age and other people who are more successful, entrepreneurs more successful. I think that if I didn't experience anything, it was like university and college. Like that sounds like fun and learning. But if I had an option to have traveled to 50 countries and built multiple businesses and met amazing entrepreneurs and, you know, non-entrepreneurs and normal people and cultures between 17 and 27, I would always choose this 100 times over. If I was going to be a lawyer or a doctor or something that requires college, sure. But like, I value freedom over everything. And that's just not negotiable for me. And money gives you that. Money on the internet gives you that. So there was never really even, and I asked myself this, when I finished high school, I was like, am I going to do like investment banking or am I going to do entrepreneurship? And I was like weighing it up. I'm like, why am I even pretending I'm weighing? I know what I'm going to do. I'm out of here. Dude.
You knew that. Yeah. You knew that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the comedy side, but talk to me about the Guinness World Record.
Sure.
How that even came to be. Because you've always been fitness, right? The Australian culture has that, but like swimming, you were a big swimmer. I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Running, marathons, all this stuff. And then you come to Greece. And then, like, what was the thought process? First, explain what your record is.
Sure.
And then let's walk through that because it's pretty remarkable.
I'll give you the timeline. So when I was a kid, my mom took me to swimming training like every weekday since I was like 7 until like 16. So like she drilled discipline into me. And Australia is a very like active country in swimming and so on. But my mom just drilled discipline into me. And then I went to like a private school with like a military arm too, with cadets and stuff. So like, although I hate authority, I hate it, I disrespect authority. I knew that discipline was a great tool for getting shit done. So even though I went through this period of like, I don't want that, I was like, no, that's actually super valuable. And I think it was 2019 when I ran my first like quarter marathon, but it was trail in Australia. It was like 40 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. Hot. I was like, okay, I like this challenge. And I just kept running.
5 degrees, by the way. Minus 30 divided by 2. It's the opposite, right? Times 2, add 30.
5 degrees Fahrenheit? Sounds cold.
Oh, sorry. That's Celsius. Okay. No. Bad conversion on my end. Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when I read David Goggins.
110. There we go. 110. There we go. I did
that's when I read David Goggins in 2019. And then I'm just like, you slowly get, I think a lot of young dudes experience this where you're like, you want to be the toughest version of yourself. And there's only one way to find that. by doing hard shit.
Yeah.
And so I went from doing a quarter marathon to a half marathon to a full marathon to the Spartan like obstacle course races to 2-3K swims, the Ocean Man swims. And then and then in 2024, I did like the 3 Spartan obstacle course races. The hardest one is a 21K. I did that in Andorra over the mountains, which was great fun. And then you get to a point where like, how much can I push myself? And ultras are like, I don't know what the word is. You have to have like something really different. I don't say better because I don't necessarily think it's better. You have to have something really different about you, mentally or physically or both, to be able to go past a certain number. And for me, even past 30K, like that's my week. Like that's my energy expenditure for a week to go past 30K running. But I was in Mani with my mom and I heard some guy ran across Africa. And I'm like, well, that's fucking crazy. You know, what the fuck? And I was thinking, how crazy, and Mani's the lowest point of mainland Greece. I'm like, how crazy would it be to run from the north to the south of Greece?
Yeah.
And I had spare time and bandwidth, let's say, in 2024. And I floated it with Gael, who I was kind of mentoring, a friend of mine too.
He's Australian?
He's Italian.
He's Italian. Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, that's fucking crazy. What the fuck? And then it kind of just festered in my brain for a bit. And then I did all the Spartan races. I did a marathon that year. I did the Ironman, which was in marathon. Yeah.
In marathon. Wow.
Yeah. Which was super hard. And then it just slowly, and like I said before, I wanted like some like significant event in my life to draw a line in the sand. And on top of that, I wanted to test myself. I wanted a line in the sand. And I wanted something to like, I wanted to experience and get all this shit out of my head. Like a bunch of stuff, ex-girlfriends, whatever. So I just wanted to reach the maximum of my brain. Because the maximum of your body, you'd be surprised. After like 30, 40K, you're like, all right, my body's gone. But like your brain, you can really push yourself. And so, yeah, so then we planned and we started the whole Guinness World Record. We hired a van and we went up to Orphanages, the most northerly town in Greece.
Where's that?
Orphanages, it's like Acropolis, but all the way to the north.
Oh, geez.
With Bulgaria and Turkey and Greece meet.
So that's the most, and then Mani all the way in the south. Yeah. Okay.
So I walked.
And kilometer-wise?
It's 1,170, something like that.
Jeez.
It worked out to be.
And not a straight line down, right?
Hell no. Okay. Because Greece, it goes like this.
Yeah.
And it's actually longer north to south than Germany or France. So it's like,
oh wow,
it's a right angle basically.
Yeah.
With mountains. That's why it's so hard to invade Greece. And yeah, and the first 7 days, I barely remember because my brain was like, all right, we're going to put all our resources into repairing our body. And my Gael saw it, and Gael knew me for a year, so he knew how I operated. And he's like, dude, you were not yourself. And we made a video every day, but I was so out of it.
But you were walking every day?
Walking every day, about 60 kilometers, yeah.
60, and then how many hours is that?
13, 14 hours.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. And then what, sleeping in the van every night?
Sleeping in a van, eating shitty food.
Oh, shitty food as well.
Yeah, because we're cooking. And because I couldn't be transported by a car at all over those 27 days.
Because of Guinness book. Because
Guinness, we talked about a bad award platform. Guinness World Records, say what you want. You can't bullshit that place. You needed to give photos, videos, GPS coordinates, times three different ones. They are impossible to bullshit. So if someone gets a Guinness World Record, you best believe they did that shit.
It's filtered. It's there. Really.
That was so much harder than walking. I had 1 watch, 2 watch, GPS on my phone, photos and videos of the whole thing. And they were still we don't believe you. I'm like, I actually did it, dude.
No way.
You still don't believe me. So they're definitely legit. I back them. But the first 7 days was just continuously getting injured. And then after 7 days, my body was like, we're doing this. So my body was like, no more blisters, no more ankle. My ankle was super swollen by day 7.
Really? And just straight walking, just walking.
Walking with a bit of running.
Yeah.
But I found dark days of the soul. I had dark days of the soul, maybe 3 or 4 times. And all the demons that I wanted to sit down and have a chat with, I had my conversation with them. And
Did you underestimate the overall? Were you like, I could do this? I'm walking.
No, I think I overestimated it. I would like a month or two before the march, I was having like nightmares before like sleeping. Like, I'm going to be in the dark walking in the middle of fucking nowhere and then sleeping in a car. Well, what the fuck? Like, I was like, this is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And the first thing I thought when I finished was like, I could have done that faster.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, you know.
And you did it in 26 days?
26 days, 10 hours, 4 hours, 10 minutes, something like that.
But you estimated 27, I think I read somewhere?
I thought it was going to be 30 days. Because I was also going to detour to Athens. So I'm like, let's just do this Guinness World Record. Let's go straight down. But yeah, like, inevitably, I was like, I could do this faster. I could have done this. I could have done that.
That's like insane, dude.
Yeah, it's what, I don't know. I used to do this thing where like, every time I travel to a new place, as soon as I landed, whether it's night or day, I go for a run, like a long run, like 10, 20K. And I always did that in my mind. I was like, I need to remind myself that I can do hard shit. And like, this was like, I'm settling in Greece, but I want to remind myself that I am not tethered to this planet. I'm a lunatic and I'll do crazy shit. And like, it's hard no one can really understand how difficult it is unless they've done ultramarathon stuff like this. Like Dean Karnazes.
Yes.
Famous, like he did America. He shits on my stuff.
That's insane.
And he's actually doing it fast, not slow like me. He can understand, but like, I don't know, there's something different. There's something, like I said, different about people who can do stuff like that. And it's not a brag because I'm not saying it's better. Maybe it's not, because it's very peculiar to want to do extremely difficult things. And I think you're going to meet very few people who understand that. And whether that's good or bad, I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, it was like something that needed to be done. I lost heaps of money on it. Like not heaps of money, but I lost money on it.
You know what I realize about you? You're never satisfied.
Yeah. And it sucks.
Right? Like, period. Like, hey, you know what? I walked across Greece. I set a record, but there's this guy, Dean, that did the States. I'm not as good. But like, it's a good thing though, right? Like you keep chasing. Yeah. Could be a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Like a month after, by the way, just a fun story about Dean. I'm like, Ella, let's go for a run. Let's have a cafe, because my knees were destroyed after the march across Greece.
Where's he from? Dean, he's American?
He's Greek-American, born in America. And I read his books growing up, because he was like, he did the longest non-stop run of all time. He won the race across Death Valley.
Oh, shoot.
The hardest race in the world.
Yes,
more times than I think almost anybody. And he came top 3 or top 5 more than anyone else. David Goggins came top 3 once and disqualified every other time. And these guys I looked up to. And then I reached out to him after the march across Greece, or he saw one of my videos or whatever it was. He's like, I'm like, let's go for a cafe. He said, yes. And I was dressed like this.
Yep.
And he was dressed ready to run and give his shot. I was like, come on. My knees. He goes, hey, Aster. And we ran across the mountains in Kinesia. I'm wearing like fucking
decked out, ready to go.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm not going to not run
with a legend.
With a legend. And I was like, fuck.
So you ran, would you run in your boots?
Like this shit, man. I was like, this guy's crazy. Well, I had to.
Tarps off and just go, right?
Oh, man. It was crazy. And my knees were destroyed. I had tendonitis in my ankles and my legs, but no, it was great. But
the wear and tear. But go back to this run though. So you're going every day. It's 30 kilometers you're doing? 60 every day. And then you were eating like shit. What shit? Like souvlakia?
Like
cigarette and coffee? Or?
So like I was burning like 8,000 calories a day, or maybe a little bit less than that. But I was consuming, and I still lost like 10 kilos during this race, the march. So anytime any food I could get my hands on, I ate. So like Gael was cooking 2-3 morning, like 6-7 eggs in the morning with whatever we could find. And then dinner at a estiatorio if we could find, a restaurant if we could find one. Lunch, Gael cooked whatever. I'm like, yes, we could find like just.
Gael's a superstar, huh?
Oh, I told him the other day, and it's true. Like that's a Guinness World Record in itself. He ran his business, helped me run my business. He fed me 3-4 times a day. He filmed a 10 to 15 minute YouTube video every day and an Instagram video every day. Drone, GoPro, proper Lumix camera, plus and he collected all the data and uploaded it all.
Oh, geez.
He had to charge the solar battery that we were living off. He had to shop. He had to wash the clothes. There's a video there.
Was he posting in real time as well? Yeah. Was that you?
Me and him.
Were you just mentally spent every day? Like just done?
Beyond, my memory of some of these days is gone. I watched the video back. I'm like, nah, I don't remember that.
Get out
Don't
of
remember
here.
saying that. No, like, and it's fascinating how the mind will work when it's doing hard shit. All my mental energy went to my legs.
Right.
All the resources just went to my legs. And Gail, like, we got into a big fight. I never talked about this, but we got into a big fight. I don't know, maybe day 8 or 9, just after Thessaloniki. We were parked under Olympus Summit just after Katerini, and we both cracked the shits. And I was like, all right, let's have this argument. And we just like yelled at each other for like 5 minutes, and we're like, so we finishing this fucking job? You're like, ah. And then we just
what was it about though? Like what?
Honestly, like
stupid shit in the end.
Stupid shit. We just had like, our anxiety and stress was through the roof.
Of course.
And then we just cracked. We're like, all right, let's get this job done. And then we had the best day the next day.
Yeah, you almost needed to just get that
100%. And yeah, like for the both of us, and like he's gone on to create a great business for himself. And don't forget, he's Italian. He's driving a car in another country and doing all this stuff speaking English nonstop. 2-3 years ago, he didn't speak any English. So like, he's a video.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
Incredible.
What was so you start in the north all the way down the Mani. What was like the darkest time where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to quit this shit. Like I'm done.
Yeah. I never thought about quitting because again, I have a delusional mindset. So it never really crossed my brain, but there were one day when I was crossing from Thessaloniki to Katerini, there's this massive delta in between there. There's literally a place called Delta there, but like there's a motorway that goes through over the delta, and there's many little rivers because that whole area in ancient times was part of the Aegean Sea.
Okay.
And that's why Pella, where Alexander the Great's from, was on the water, and I went there a couple months ago. But now it's inland. You're like, what sea are you talking about? But because all the silt from the river filled it up, now it's like just a normal land.
No way.
But there's all these tiny rivers, and you're not allowed to walk on the motorway because it's a motorway.
Sure.
But there's a country road, a farming road, and I walked on that. But I knew at some point I would have to hop onto the motorway, which is climbing over a barbed wire fence, and then illegally walk on the motorway, cross the bridge, cross the river, and then go back down. There are 3 of those. And if I got caught by the police, I would have to go back to Thessaloniki, go 70 kilometers around, which is another. So that's 1 day wasted, 2 days, 3 days. I'm saving like 3-4 days by crossing over illegally. And
nothing's illegal in Greece though.
So the first motorway crossing, the first river, part of the motorway was under construction. And I just walked, I was pretending I was on a phone call. I'm walking, and so some construction was like, hi. They're like, what's? I'm like, oh no, I'm allowed to walk here. He's like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
He's like,
it's done.
I just, okay, don't worry, I'm going to get off. Because okay. Then I got off, walked the country road for a bit. Then on the next one, and I just sprinted across, which my legs sprinting was very difficult. The last one, I'm like, please, like it's afternoon. I'm not going all the way back. And this was I walked, I think the longest day was like 65K, but like, this day was the longest non-stop. I just didn't stop for 50 kilometers. Not even a 5-minute break, nothing. So I just wanted to get across this shit as fast as possible. And over this last bridge, I jumped over the barbed wire fence. I'm crossing the harbor and I'm just looking straight. And then I see that they have the Odia, what's it called? The tolls?
The tolls, yeah.
I'm like, there's always cops there, fuck. And a cop comes right next to me. I'm like, now look, he goes, beep. I'm like, he goes, beep. I'm like, what? He goes, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, the police told me in Thessaloniki that I could do this because I'm doing a march across Greece. They're like, oh, ducks. I'm like, I'm going to get off right away. All right, get off. I was like, oh, fuck.
In Australia, you would have been carded and everything.
Forget about it, man. Yeah. Forget about it. So that was concerning. But like darkest day was between Argos and a little town called Rizes. Those mountains. And it was pouring down rain, and I thought I would go through a shortcut going on the railways. And then there's these massive railway bridges with no like real floor. I'm just on the beams, like stand by me.
In the rain.
In the rain. And then I'm like, there's more mountains and then more and then more. And I was like, this is like day 25. I'm like, I'm so spent, man. Like, I can't. And then my friend came and visited me. I'm like, okay. We did an extra another 30K that day too.
Really?
So there's a lot of moments where I'm just like, but honestly, I just locked out. I had no focus. My brain was just not there.
What time of year was it?
It was November 5th to like December 3rd, something like that. So it's cold and rainy.
Dude, it's just like Greece's terrain is just mountain after mountain after mountain.
It's the worst.
Right? And you're winding up and winding down, and
the mountains, like the first the mountains in the north, what are they called? Rhodope Mountains.
Yeah.
That was the second day. Like the first night at 2 a.m. we went to bed after the first day of walking, and we were parked just there in the forest. 2 a.m. we get a knock from the police. We're like, what? Like, you're going to get molested here and we're like, what? You're going to get molested and robbed by refugees. I'm like, can you relax, dude?
Yeah.
Because you're on the literal trail where people go. We were like 1 kilometer from the Bulgarian border.
So trafficking central?
Yeah, they're like, this is where they come. We thought you were a refugee. And I look like a refugee. They're like, what the fuck?
Look like a refugee.
And we're like, they're like, don't park here. You're going to get robbed and like stabbed. I'm like, relax there.
Yeah.
We went back to sleep. The next day, I'm walking through the forest and I just see mattresses, water bottles, fresh backpacks, shoes. I'm like, they had a point.
That bad, eh?
They had a very good, it was lucky because it was winter. There's not that many crossings in winter, but like fresh footprints. I'm like, they were not wrong.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever done this since?
No.
And what was the closest, like anyone's?
I think some American guy went from Alexandroupoli to Sparta or Athens. But the thing is, like, because Guinness World Records makes it they're so pedantic about you can't travel in any other transport form. You need your video, your photo, your GPS coordinates, all this stuff. It's much more than just doing the job. You need to have recording, you need to have a videographer, you need to have a van. Like, there's a lot of expenses in it too. So it's not just having the will to do it or the strength to do it or the endurance to do it. You got to have like extreme patience. And also the best part, 3 months later, they sent me the award. They put the wrong date on it. The record-keeping company put the wrong date on the award.
What did they put?
They put 2024.
Oh, geez.
Oh, sorry, they put 2025. So a year in the future.
Could you use that to your advantage at all?
I was like, and because you got to, like Forbes, they're making money the whole time.
Of course.
So I have to pay for the award, the plaque to come.
Yeah.
So I paid $100 to get my plaque. They put the wrong date. I go, can you fucking send me the right one? What the fuck? Come on. You're shitting me, right? They're like, oh, you didn't tell us. I'm like, didn't tell you.
In the future?
What? What do you mean? You would have believed me if I told you?
Yeah.
After all, ridiculous. 2 months later, the right one comes, and I'm just like, here's the award. Fuck it. I'm so over it now.
Yeah, but dude, that one holds so much prestige, right? Like Guinness covers everything.
Yeah,
like
they're legit. Yeah.
That's incredible. And then like the GPS tracking and all that. So, hey, I'm not going to jump in the van and do 5 kilometers.
You couldn't, honestly, if you tried to cheat, it would be near impossible to prove it. And like, we never even thought about cheating or anything because it would just be too difficult.
Right.
It'd be way more difficult to cheat than to just do it.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's get the job done. It wasn't even a
Go
debate.
back to your social presence, right?
Yeah.
You had said something before, like one of your posts got you tens of thousands of followers. When you finished this and you were holding a Guinness World Record, Greek media here will put anything on the news to go. What did Greek media, like, what was their reaction when you got this?
When I started it, I was unearthed, and there was a lot of support. Like, people came and visited me and walked with me for a little bit, but it wasn't anything massive. Like, I've had much stupider series I've done get a lot more views. So it wasn't big at all.
Okay.
There was definitely a bit of a bump here and there, like in interest, but we were raising money for Greek orphanages the whole time.
Wow. Okay. Talk about that.
Which was, both my parents are orphans and they're Greek, and I thought it was a good cause. And I worked with the Greek American Foundation to raise money for Greek orphanages. And
good for you, man.
We raised $1,000 just from my followers.
Yep.
And then George Logothetis from Libra Group, he's like, let's double that.
George, that's all you did was doubled it? George could have 100x that, you know?
Could. Yeah, all of us could, but like...
no, bravo. That's amazing.
Yeah. So we put that money together and put it towards the Greek American Foundation, which, if not for anything else, like, that's the only reason to get, media attention for the March Across Greece. So yeah, that was good. That felt good.
Who is George, the one from Libra, and his brother's Leon? Who's the one that did the kindness tour?
Leon. Yeah.
He went across the states with okay, so that's Leon.
Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. And then all expenses were out of your pocket for this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was not a profitable endeavor.
No. But long term, it's incredible.
For me, I always knew it was going to be for myself and for my own, for the mental game I'm playing in my life. And, it was also just like when I told you, like when I go to a new city, I need to set the tone for how I'm going to like set the tone for like, I think the next like 5-10 years for me. Like, we're doing crazy shit. Get used to it. This is going to be what it's going to be like.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the listeners how you had Tinder live feed and just while you're going down? Okay. So you push the limits. Talk to me about the comedy side of this.
Sure. So I started comedy in Barcelona in like 2020, late 2020. And I've been pretty consistent doing open mics and some pro shows for the last 5 years.
But hold on. So where you moved to Barcelona?
Yeah, I lived in Barcelona for a couple months every year.
Yeah.
Since 2018, except for 2025. Yeah, I love Barcelona.
Why, like, of all the countries, typically Spain, the English is not really mainstream, like Italy's.
Well, I dated a lot of Latinas in Australia.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I love Spanish culture. I'm obsessed with like old bodega music, reggaeton, old Colombian, Venezuelan music. When I went to Mexico, I loved it. I've been learning Spanish slowly over the years too. I love their culture. I think it fuses very well with Greek culture.
Absolutely.
It's such a warm, culture. And Barcelona, I stumbled upon in 2018, and then I just kept going back. And they happened to have an English comedy club there, which made it super easy to just make friends and fill my time. And like anything, it became like a job. Like, it's fun.
But that was your first time you've gone on an open mic ever in Barcelona?
Yeah.
Okay, so like you thought you were funny all these years, or you were funny? Like, what made you say?
It wasn't even that. I never even remotely thought I was going to do stand-up until like a month. I was like, I saw some other comedians do it. I'm like, I could do that.
Right.
They don't seem that great at that. And you know what? I swear I could tell a story better than that. So it came from sheer arrogance and poor judgment, maybe. But and then I went up, and the first time wasn't excruciating, which is worse because the first time wasn't that bad. The next 4 times was excruciating. I was like, all right, let me stick at it, maybe. And then,
what was the audience though that wasn't great? American?
No, me. I was the problem. Okay. It wasn't the audience. It's never the audience. Yeah, it's always like foreigners. It's rarely Catalan people in Barcelona. But for me, I only really hit my stride with comedy. I only really started to enjoy it. Would have been 2022, 23, years later.
Yep.
When I did, it was a show in Kypseli, like in some Isoyo backyard. And I think I just stopped trying to be like other comedians. I'm just like, look, I'm going to do my story, which always is the story, generally how it goes.
Who were you trying to be though? Who was your role model?
I think a lot of comedians, and myself included, you're trying to be like the comedians you think are funny.
Right.
And I was like, well, and I remember the set. It's the one where I'm like talking about being Greek Australian and traveling the world. People think I'm Arab and blah, blah, blah. And like all these very like true to me experiences. And then after that, it just became a little easier. And now it's just like going to the gym. Like I do open mics 2-3 times a week. Oh, wow. Usually here when I'm focused.
Where's the scene here? Like we're
all around. Like, there's a show at Nomads in Monastiraki. There's a show Foca Negra in Kypseli. There's Baraz, one of my favorite places to do it, in Neos Cosmos. There's Ziggy English in Bagrati. There's a bunch of different places. You got to keep an eye on it, but and then, I mean, whenever I travel, I just traveled through Eastern Europe now. I do shows in Poland, Romania.
Oh, wow.
Budapest.
Yeah.
So wherever I go, I also pick up gigs.
That's incredible, dude. And this is all your extra. Like, you're not doing this to make money. Like, this is a passion.
Yeah, for sure. It's a passion. I mean, I'd love to make money from it.
Sure.
Sometime, at some point. But it's definitely because I enjoy it now. It's hard, but like that's the same reason I like running and going to the gym and stuff, because I think it's a meaningful thing to do.
Right.
And like on a core basis of like whenever I have a shitty night of comedy, or I'm like not feeling up to it, I remember like people work all week, shitty jobs that you most likely hate, like I've hated my past jobs, and then they get a babysitter, they put aside all their other, concerns, They go out with a friend, they organize, they go eat, they sit down, they say, let's be entertained.
Yeah.
If you can make them laugh after that shitty week, like, come on, that's great.
Absolutely.
That is a great thing to put forward into the world. So yeah, and then, you know, some people, like rare times I'll lose faith a bit in comedy, and then I take like a month or two off, and I come back, and it's a very like, for me, it's very much like the gym. It's just, you know, this constant habit. And that's why, like you mentioned, you like Jerry Seinfeld, the man's a savage of discipline. Same with like Louis C.K. Like they just keep going after, they keep going out. And I'm in this, like the next 10 years of my comedy is just going to be a slog, but maybe I'll be proper funny then. But like these 10 years is just putting my head down and continually doing open mics and doing slowly longer and bigger shows. So like, don't expect anything special in the next 10 years, but 10 years from now, I hope I'll be doing something good.
And guess what? In 10 years from now, George Moulos, overnight success in comedy, right? Like this overnight. Dude, that's incredible. In your shows, like what's your forte? What usually works for you?
Yeah. For me, it's stories. Sometimes it's from like real things that have happened. Sometimes it's like a tiny thing happened, and then I like blow it up into this exaggerated, crazy thing.
Can you give us an example of one?
Yeah. Okay. So like one time I was sitting down having a cafe in Copenhagen. It was my first day there, and I was on the phone with my mom, and I had all my bags with me, and I saw this old Arab guy on a bike, and he saw me, and he saw my bags, and he like lit up, and he stopped his bike, and he came over to me. He's like, "Assalamu alaikum." I'm like, and for me, I always get mistaken for other races.
Right.
But I'm not someone to say, no, Malaga, I'm Greek. I'm like, yeah, salam alaikum. Have a seat, sit down. And he's sitting there, and my mum's on the phone, so I want to make her laugh just by listening to this. I put my AirPods out, she's listening. And he starts speaking Arabic. Yeah. I'm just like, my brother, my Arabic isn't very good. So don't worry, you will learn. I'm like, sure. And then he's talking about this and that. I'm like, eventually, I'm like, I'm not Arabic, you know. He's like, what? He's like, that's why he's like, come to the mosque. I'm like, well, I'm not Muslim. He's what? I'm like, I'm Greek. He's like, oh, fuck. And then I'm like, what if I continued with this guy just bullshitting? And then like, that's a 5-minute bit I have.
Yeah.
So like, things evolve.
So it's all life experiences, which
some of it is, yes, definitely. A lot of it comes from like experience or like, if things happened in certain experiences. But yeah, a lot of it is, sometimes it's just straight malakias.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
we need that, man. Life is too serious. Like you 100%. Need that.
100%.
Really quick on Australia, you had mentioned that you never felt connected there. Even though you were born and raised there, you never felt it. Like, what is it about Australia that just didn't click with you?
Yeah, good question. I think Australia is like the middle ground between Europe and America. Where like Americans have a strong identity for themselves. You might be Greek American or Mexican American or whatever American, but you're proud to call yourself an American because America is a great idea. It's a great thing. It's a huge, big, great thing. Yeah. Sometimes it's a mess, but it's a huge, great thing. It's a great thing to call yourself an American. And Australia doesn't really have that. Everyone's like, I'm a proud Aussie. What did Australia do? It's not like, I don't know. I never got it.
Yep.
Right? My experience of like, I had, you know, I like Australia, but like a lot of the time it's, the things that, and as a Greek, you obviously it's very easy to be a proud Greek. Every Greek's a proud Greek. Australia, I don't know. As a kid, I was always the Greek kid. And I was like, well, you know, it's Greeks and Aussies. It's the rest. It's like, so I never felt super attached to Aussie culture. So leaving, I never really, and coming to Greece, I was like, I'm not leaving anything of high value, to be honest.
Like when you go back to visit, you don't get that. Like you don't.
Never have.
Like you're done. Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Like for me, I grew up with American TV, American music, American culture, American YouTube, American business culture. I feel more American, especially because all the money I've made is from America than I do Australian.
Right.
I'm more proud to be a prouder American than I am Australian. I'm not American, you know?
See, I had that growing up in Canada, born and raised there.
Yeah.
And when I'm in Canada, my whole life, it's like, oh, I'm Greek.
Yeah.
But I'm in Canada, right? With like all the Canadians. And then when you come here, I'm Canadian. Like for me growing up, it was like, you always want to be from where you're not physically located. But this hit me last month I was in China for work, and I was, last day I had like 2 hours to kill before I went through the market in Hong Kong, grabbed some souvenirs for the kids. And I started talking to the man that had the shop. Where are you from? And it hit me. Out of all these years, 44 years old, I'm like, fuck, what am I? Like, and my default was I'm Canadian. Yeah. Even though I live in the States, I'm an American citizen, I have my Greek citizenship, and I have my Canadian, and my default was I'm Canadian. He goes, oh, what part of Canada do you live in? I'm like, no, I live in California. He goes, so what are you? Guinness was telling me this, and it hit that, and I'm like, and I guess for me, it's like everyone's shitting on Canada. All my Canadians are shitting on Canada lately, and they're moving to the States, they're moving to Florida, they're moving. It's a weird dynamic, this whole thing, like who are you and whatever. It's like, I don't know where I'm going with this rant, but like I'm proud to be Greek, I'm proud to be Canadian, and honestly, like the States is the greatest place in the world. It really is.
I mean, like,
it's incredible.
America wins, and like if you're going to be a Western country, an Anglo-Saxon Western country that is all about opening the borders and bringing in immigrants, which is, we all are, and you want to build off that, off meritocracy and capitalism, America is the place to be.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you can, like, I have more gratitude to America than Australia because it's because of American culture that I have my freedom.
Yep.
And American clients that have my freedom. At the same time, I live in Greece for the most part, and I haven't been to America in almost a year and a half now. But, you have to give props to the winner, and they're winning.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If they weren't winning, I wouldn't give props, but they are. And they've been winning for a little while now.
Yes.
Australia hasn't been. Canada hasn't been. I think in 300-400 years, when time passes and we look back at this phase of history, it's the American age. American Canada are basically like colonies or not colonies, I call them like tributary states of America. Might as well be.
100%.
It's American culture, just with a different accent.
Canadians hate hearing that, but you're absolutely right. Canada is what it is. Geographically, we're there. We're influenced by there. That's why now I even cringe when I see political leaders coming out against America, and it's like, pump the brakes. Like
look, it is what it is. Like I always compare it to like Nabatea, which is like Jordan now. It was its own country, its own right, an own kingdom, but they paid tribute to Rome and the Roman Empire. That's how Australia and Canada, not so much the UK, but kind of is to America, and great because that works for us and it works for them. It's a winning equation, really. But and in my head, I'm like, where do I fit in? Because that's what's important to me.
Yep.
It's like, well, if anything, I'm in the middle of these two worlds, and sometimes I'm translating Greek habits and culture to America, and maybe America back to Australia, to Greece. But it's an interesting time. I don't know. I think a lot of people, especially business people, are becoming less tied to one home country.
Yep.
And identity is always a fucking crazy thing, man. I mean, people in my generation more than ever, they don't know if they're a man or a woman anymore. So I'm here struggling to know if I'm Greek or Australian or American. Like, we're all on our own little crusade of adventure trying to find who we are. And I think it's just a bit easier for Americans to say American because that's a very wide net, but it's a very positive growth mindset type of like, America is this place where you can be yourself, make money doing that, and have a family and be successful. And that's my mindset. So like on a moral, like constitutional level, I'm like, that's
America. The one.
Yeah.
This has been a great chat, man. It's just flowing. A couple more things I want to cover. I want to cover just the history aspect.
Sure.
Let's give the listener something like just related to Greece, to Athens, some stuff like putting you on the spot. And then I just want to talk about actually living here, right? And some of the nuances, because there's a lot of people that aren't Greek that are moving here. A lot of investment. There's a lot of money, a lot of Arab money, American money. Just kind of talk about that from your standpoint too. But like, give us some history, putting you on the spot here. But like related, we're sitting here, like Acropolis is right here, Olympic Zeus is right here, right? What's some stuff that people could learn from you aside from going to your channel? Yeah, look, for me, a lot of my obsession and interest is in the stuff that's like not super obvious. It's like, yes, we have these, huge temples here in front of us, but I think the most interesting part about Greek history is not Golden Age Greece or Classical Age Greece, Acropolis,
Olympian Zeus, Hadrian rebuilding that. I find that way less fascinating than from like 330 AD, Constantine the Great refounded Constantinople to 1453. Those are 1,100 odd years of like East Roman politicking and back and forth of borders that is so much more well documented, in depth, interesting. Like you could make a whole TV series out of it, just the politicking of one era. It's so much more interesting. But the only reason we don't have this super awareness of East Roman Greek rule and history, and we're obsessed with, 150 odd years of Greek history, is because Athens is the capital of Greece. Not even Thessaloniki or Patra, which are way more East Roman Byzantine than Athens. Athens, is a refugee city. It barely existed 150 years ago. If you look at pictures from 150 years ago, there's a couple of houses around the Acropolis. It was nothing.
Isn't that crazy, the photo?
Insane. Yeah. And now it's 4 or 5 million people. It's mental. But the real alternative would have been Constantinople, which is the East Roman city. If we had, let's live in fantasy land for a little bit here, that as our capital, let's say 1922, things worked out, we would be much more cognizant of the East Roman rule. But because that's how a nation builds. And that's why historiography, how you tell the story of history is super interesting. And which is a lot of, I guess, what I'm doing. I'm telling a story of Greece through the eyes of a Greek Australian 27-year-old living in Greece in 2026, which is different to a Greek from 20 years ago, just a Greek. We're all telling these different stories. And I think a lot of Greeks are fucking sick of classical age Greece.
You think so?
Oh my God. People, I think we're so sick of the Acropolis, dude. It's awesome.
Yes. Physically, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Fantastic. The story behind it, it's phenomenal. But that is such a tiny, tiny tip of a huge iceberg of Greek history and culture that it's a shame. They're great, on to the next. Tell me about China or something. It is so small, and it's not even as significant or as powerful as one Komnenian restoration, 100 odd year period of East Roman rule. It's a shame, to be honest. People come here, tourists come here, Greeks come here, and you tell them anything about the 100 or 200 odd Greek origin East Roman emperors, they're I don't know what that is. You're your culture is based off 95% East Roman rule, maybe 2-3% of ancient Greece.
Jeez.
You're way more East Roman than you are ancient Greek.
But when you're saying East Roman, you're talking about occupation? When you say
no, East Roman is the East Roman Empire from 330, if not a bit earlier, but let's say 330 AD to 1453. So you're talking about 1,100 years.
Jeez.
And to put, historians see the end of the ancient world is when Constantinople was conquered. 50 years after when Constantinople was conquered, the end of ancient Rome, the end of the ancient world, Columbus found America. That's one lifetime.
Right.
You could have been in Constantinople seeing the Turks coming in, and then also been on the boat seeing America for the first time.
Jeez.
Mindfuck. Right? It's crazy.
When you put it like that,
yeah. And all Greek Orthodoxy is Eastern Rome. And all that culture, all that architecture, all that art, all our writing, all our language, that's East Roman, right? People say Byzantine, but that's Western propaganda. East Roman. Really, it's just Roman. But
see, where I struggle with, and I don't know enough, not even on your level, but when you hear East Roman, you're oh, modern Italy, Italians, that's it, right? But that's what you hear. And then the Roman Empire, this is very important what you're saying.
Yeah, no,
the Greek influence, and
it's also back to identity. As a Greek, to attach yourself in some way to the Acropolis, you're gonna have a hard time, buddy. Because that shit is firstly, you can't track that shit that far, DNA or anything. Most of the Greeks, most of the people that were here in 150 years ago were Arvanites, and that's a whole, wormhole of its own. Getting into that, what an Arvanite is.
Arvanites, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They speak that language in my dad's village in Evia.
Yeah.
Arvanitica.
Yeah.
It's a dialect over there.
100%. And you want to understand where you're from, right? And maybe because I didn't have grandparents growing up, they died. My parents were super young. I had this like real desire to find out where I'm from. And I like last weekend, I went to these random ancient towers in Porto Germano, just in the mountains. I went for
shits and giggles, like you wanted to go.
I wanted to make a video, check it out. I really have a curiosity about that. And like, I think any Greek, especially diaspora Greeks, they want to understand and know where they're coming from, really. And for me, I researched and got a genealogist and a person who makes like a family trees and so on, to make a 400-page book and I'm lucky because I'm from Kythera. And one of my yayas from Rihia, which is near Monevasia. And
beautiful spots.
Killer spots. And Kythera and parts of Mani were the only places in Greece never conquered by the Turks.
Yes. But the Maniat is right. Maniat, they're very proud about that. That's 100%. A big deal.
Yes. That is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. The Cretans have the reputation of like the guns and the protection, but like Mani was on that level. Yeah. Right.
Big part about why is because it's not worth conquering. They're crazy. There's no resources there. What's the point?
Let them have it.
Whatever. Kythera was conquered by the Venetians up until the end of the 17th century. And then like it passed through a couple hands, Russians, French, English, but like never conquered by the Turks.
Right.
And then there were all these church records. So like I took my family tree all the way back to 1200.
Come on.
And then I'm like, well, I'm not done. It stops with Venetian records. So I went to Venice. I went to the Biblioteca there, the library there, and I went through it even further. Like, and I've from Crete, from Venice, from Constantinople, from Sparti, like just way back. And like for me, you need to know where you come from, to know where you are, to know where you're going. And for some reason, I've always been pretty good at knowing exactly who I am because it makes it easy to make content when I know who I am. Because I'm not trying to be anyone I'm not.
Right.
So I don't know, it for me makes a lot of sense. I think that's what we're all kind of scraping at when we're learning a bit of history. We're trying to understand and get an awareness for the world we live in. So
that's incredible, man.
That's my rant. You started it. This is your fault.
No, but it's great. And you find the cheapest, poorest way. The poorest way. We'll sit there. You'll see Greeks outside anywhere in the diaspora. Acropolis, my people. Right? Like it's just such a, when you don't know enough, like we have nothing to do with what ancient Greeks were. Like to claim that, right?
Yeah, it's a crazy claim.
It's a crazy claim. Like, yeah, you could be proud physically we're here.
And the biggest thing is, and I said this to our friend, he's like, I can't believe you're saying this, but like, I don't believe you inherit merit. And I'm the guy who keeps talking about Greek shit nonstop.
Right.
But like, I'm not great just because Greeks have done great stuff.
Exactly.
So you start from scratch when you get born. Tell me, show me your work.
Yep.
But like, I think it's all about learning for sure. Like there's a lot to be learned from Turkish culture. There's a lot to be learned from Turkish history.
Yes.
These people started as slaves under Arabs in Persia. Like that's an underdog story.
Yes.
It's a killer underdog story. And like they went from slave class in the Umayyad Caliphate to taking the best city in the world. Malaka, good on you. It's at our loss.
Yeah.
But fuck.
Yeah.
Like from enemies, from allies, from whoever, every side there's lessons to be learned. And for me, I started learning history super young to get good at business. And I think it's definitely helped. And I'm lucky enough now that the nerdy shit, I mean, I was on Hinge.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Okay, let's pull up the profile. Let's see this.
I shit you not.
Yeah.
I'll show you later.
Yeah.
And a ridiculously attractive girl found me on Hinge, just like, you're the history guy. I'm like, I am. I'm like, this is great.
That's crazy.
And like, I don't know, there's something about life that, and I don't know, it feels American because only in America, and it's an American app, content is an American invention, this type of content, do a personal brand on the internet for random Malak with no degree in history. That's a very American culture. It's that American culture that has allowed me to bring my ridiculous, weirdly unqualified opinion and interest to the world and get merit from that.
That's a crazy take. Like you wouldn't think about that. We're sitting here. This is where you're building that up, but it's the American.
It's American culture.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram is an American app. Not to mention mobile technology is American. Not just Instagram is an American app, but personal brand on the internet for unqualified people, which is what I am, for this sort of, I'm not an archaeologist, I'm not a historian, I should not be talking about history. This would not be acceptable pre-internet. But because of American culture, people are open to not necessarily opinions, but even a malaka talking about it in an interesting way.
Right.
I'm very grateful for that.
Totally random. If you already have this, then clearly I don't know. But like, is there a web page where you have a map geographically where I could click and be like, oh, here's George's video on this? You know what I mean?
I definitely know what you mean. I've thought about this.
Because digestible, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going through Mani today. Has George, just to get a snippet, man.
I'm trying now with my YouTube, I'm trying to like do like hour-long videos that are a bit more calm, not like my crazy ADHD Instagram ones.
14 espresso is just going.
Yeah. I just want to be like super, I made my first one last weekend, just super calm, hiking to these places, slowly explaining maybe a bit about them. But I've always and the one website, no one visits this outside of Greece, but it's called Kastra.eu.
Okay.
It's a map with all the archaeological sites of Greece. I'm obsessed with it. I've always been obsessed with this site. But it just shows every single tower, castle thing in Greece. And I love it. But in terms of like a heat map of like content made about it, you just got to subscribe or follow.
Good hook. Good hook, man. Okay. So to wrap this up, talk to me. When we were chatting before, I'm like, you have a lot to offer. Like, you're doing what you're doing business-wise, right? And then there's this whole business ecosystem in Greece, right? We could poke holes at. It's easy to poke holes at it.
Sure.
You know, where the people are, education. It's easy. Like, Greece is not good for this, but like, you are physically here. You're doing great content. You're doing all the stuff. What can you do, or what are you doing? What have you done to like help the next generation coming up, those 18 to 22-year-olds right now, 25-year-olds, to be motivated, to learn from you, to be able to go and do that?
Yeah, I think...
You have a lot to offer.
Look, I don't know if I have a lot to offer. I think if I have anything... I've done my university talks over the years. I don't know. I think more than anything, like, one, I don't think it's the older generation's responsibility to be an inspiration. I think you're going to find inspiration if you find it. And like I say, they're coming from an ungrateful, stupid generation. No one hates my generation more than me. And I don't say that because it's cool to say. I say because I know people my age. And like a lot of the time I'm like, are you serious? Come on.
Like, what is it? Entitlement?
It's entitlement.
Yeah.
Like that grinds my gears. And not just in the West, but everywhere. I think they're expecting something. Like, where's my help? Help. I didn't get help.
All right.
I didn't have connections. I didn't have money. I didn't have anything. I wasn't waiting for anyone for any handouts. And like how unfair it is. Yeah, no shit. Life's unfair. Like, I think, I don't know. My generation is just very, if it's not laid out for them, they won't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what risk is. Like, that's how it goes. I think, it's great too for people like me. I don't know anyone else my age, really, maybe 3 or 4 people in Greece really hustling on content. And those other guys, I love them. I promote them. I think what they're doing is great and I support them. But like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that other people, like having bad competition is not a great thing.
Right.
Could be bad. Like when I go on dates with girls, they're like, guys are assholes. They don't do this. I'm like, fantastic. That's good for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing a good job. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Look, I think the Greek business environment is very, there's big holes in it. You're right. But those are also massive opportunities. And Greece moves slowly, but with some industries, that's going to change super fast.
Right.
Like, I found one industry, I looked at it for a little while, I analyzed it, and I realized I could do something here. So I looked at media in Greece and the news more specifically. All of the news companies, Kathimerini, OT, what are the other ones? I can't remember them.
Anea,
Dovima.
Yep.
Every single one of these news companies is owned by shipping or oil oligarchs.
Yeah.
And great for them. But also, what has that led to? All these news companies don't do news the way they do in America or the West, which is on social media. So again, unqualified person, I got more views as a journalist on news in Greece on social media than any other journalist in Greece.
Yeah. That's insane.
I don't deserve that. It shouldn't be the case. I'm disappointed in our nation for that. And the worst thing is, I'm doing it in English.
Yeah. But here's the crazy part. Greece, as a small little country that it is, has way too many media outlets.
Yeah.
Way too many TV stations, way too many newspapers.
And the lowest trust in Europe in media.
Is that a fact?
100%.
Okay, yeah.
Greece has the lowest trust in media. Yeah. And it makes sense because it's all oligarchs who own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want to tell me, you want to tell a Greek person that the guy whose brother or something is the mayor of Piraeus, owns massive oil shipping company, owns Olympiakos, owns the biggest TV channel Mega, owns Danea, Dovima, OT, and about 4 other, and I'm going to trust all the opinions, not to mention the guy's been like involved in 102 scandals where journalists happen to fall off bridges.
Yeah.
Give me a break, dude.
Right.
Like, and only for that reason, I think one, Greeks trust someone speaking English a bit more than someone speaking Greek, which sucks, but it's reality. And 2, I don't give my opinion. I say, look, this is what's happened today. And I say, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's why I call it what do you think news. Not what I think or what George thinks. It's like, this is what I think. Let me know what you think. And comments go crazy.
They go crazy.
It is what it is.
In English and Greek?
Both.
Yeah. What's the biggest scandal you've seen out of Greece in the last year? Isn't it the anniversary of the Tempe?
22. Yeah.
Last year was the biggest.
Yeah, I was there. I was marching.
Right?
Yeah.
It was all over Greece.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the biggest?
We have such a plethora of disgraceful scandals here. OPEKEPE was a special one.
Which one's this?
OPEKEPE is the fake farms.
In Crete.
Yeah, yes. But it was all over Greece too.
Explain that one quickly.
So like people in the know were like, oh yeah, I got 5,000 sheep, so I should have the subsidies for that. And I have 2 sheep or no farm, and they were a DJ. Bullshit. Yeah. Just because you know someone who knows someone. But the train thing, I think, will get even more momentum this year because one of the victims' mother is running for parliament, I think.
Oh, wow.
She's starting her own party. And there was just a whole other thing in Spain, another massive train accident, which is like, we're in the same pool of shitty South European countries. And there's a bit more of a momentum in Bulgaria. There were big protests about corruption in general, I think something else. Serbia because of the train bus station accident. There's things ruminating in the Balkans. I don't expect anything big from Greece.
And clearly nothing's happened since that, right? Like the biggest demonstrations we've seen in a long time last year. And I bet you this year's going to be even bigger.
Maybe.
But what are the people asking for in that example? Because it's not the guy who was at the control center. It was the system, and then it was the government.
Well, the people at the control center have already gone to prison, a lot of them.
But aren't they the scapegoats too?
Look, there's a long chain of people responsible, I think. But that's half the problem. The other half of the problem is that they concreted and cleaned up the site very quickly. Right. And it's like the person with blood on the hands, like, let me investigate. I'm clean. Yeah. All right, dude.
Done.
And like what was on the trains, why it blew up like this, like there's a lot. And I wish I could say it's all conspiracy theories, but there's a lot of like factual stuff that go into this. I forget the guy's name, but one of the fathers of the victims did a hunger strike. And I chatted with him and like, dude's got a lot of good points, man.
Really?
A lot of it's like only in the Balkans could things be so ridiculously bad with so much proof and they still get away with it. And they're still some of the most popular politicians. It's absurd. Really absurd.
It's crazy. The last comment on that is like, it drove me nuts. Once that accident happened, the next day, every political party leader was there for their photo op.
Yeah, straight away.
Not even Mitsotakis. It was like the opposition and then this guy and then this guy who's got, it's just stop, dude.
And
that's not a Greek thing. That's everywhere. I get it.
It's politics. But like also, Greek news is a very negative tilt. It's never about anything good.
Right.
And Greeks often mention to me, your news isn't like, first, I don't do the news like this that's most Greek news presenters. And like a lot of the time people mention that on their posts.
Right.
Like Proto Thema, they got presenters.
Or whatever.
And I was like, dude, he won the Olympics. Relax. But like, exactly. Smile. And like, just because I put a bit of energy, I like I don't know what's why it's working, but there's a very negative tilt. Even if things are slowly getting better, they still might be bad. But let's, try and tell some of the good parts is like what I always try and do. And like, even if it's ridiculously bad, like last week, Giradiko, they were selling Coke out of a Giradiko. That's bad, but also that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Let's put a funny twist on it.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last question. Your friend coming in's never been to Athens.
Yeah.
What do they do for 48 hours? What are you telling them to do? What to see? Like, what's your...
If you've got 48 hours, you're not sleeping. So you're going to be supplied by... You should go to like 4 or 5 or 10 cafes and slowly go through food joints. And like the central suburbs, I'd say. I think you got to hit the big archaeological sites, the big museums. Try and get into the niche restaurants, the niche bars. I think the nightlife, we have great nightlife. Yeah. I think it's underrated, even though it's overrated by some people think. Bouzoukia, I think stand-up should be in there. There's a lot of great stand-ups here. And theater too. Like, we have more theaters than any city in the world.
It's crazy, yeah.
Packed. I don't know. I think also get out of Athens too. Like, Greece has so much more to offer than just Athens.
Absolutely.
And Santorini and Mykonos, I fucking hate those places. They kill me.
Yeah.
The least known places will have more history than all of Australia. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's no bad place to go here.
No.
Right?
No.
Like,
you can't go. I've been to most places, mainly because I've walked through the country. But like, I've been here 8 years. I'm still finding new stuff. Like, after this, I'm going on a hike North Kifissia near the Tati Palace. I found some tower there. I want to go check it out. I'm going with some friends. Here. It's like, it's a constant exploration here. It's phenomenal. I love it.
It's amazing. Dude, this has been a great chat.
My pleasure, man.
What's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Instagram, George Moulos Official. George Moulos, Moulos on YouTube or elsewhere. Follow my stuff, I guess.
You're awesome, dude.
Thank you, brother.
That was a great chat.
All good, man.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons and follow me on all the main podcast streaming channels. Also, please share your comments when you can. I appreciate your help in expanding this network to a worldwide audience. Until next time, stay invigorated.